the Pioneer viewers. I'm here with you with a new report. In a moment, I will share with you reports from the field and our impressions of the Russia-Ukraine war, accompanied by the map. The Ukrainian army's advance in the Kherson region seems to continue. There is intense pressure on the Russian troops. Let's see how long they can resist. Intense clashes are also continuing in other parts of the front line. It is not possible to say that there are many border changes. Avdiivka has taken a rather strange turn. We are increasingly expecting the Bakhmut situation here. Ukrainian troops are determined to defend Avdiivka. Russian troops, on the other hand, insist on capturing the region. We last saw a similar situation on the Bakhmut front line. Russian troops suffered a lot of losses in order to capture the town of Bakhmut. A similar situation seems to be happening in Avdiivka. So what is the latest situation on the front line? Let's take a look at the developments together. As the Pioneer, we are making an intense effort and continue to bring you the developments on the front line. We need your support for this work to continue. To support us, you can use the super thanks button below the video and comment on our videos. I also read all the comments you've made. So if you're ready, let's start the Pioneer reports. We start by analyzing the developments on the Kherson front line. As you know, with the operations of the Ukrainian Special Forces that started overnight, a great deal of activity emerged, and the Ukrainian troops broke the dominance of the Russian troops in some areas on east bank of the Dnieper River by organizing simultaneous operations from many different points. The breaking of this domination was almost a milestone. The Ukrainian army continued its operations on the Kherson front line on the eastern bank of the Dnieper River. According to the latest reports, the Ukrainian army managed to gain a bridgehead in Kherson. This is a very important development. Ukrainian troops are gradually increasing the number of bridgeheads and expanding these areas. The expansion of the area allows Russian troops to spread out. This is a disadvantage for artillery units, but a great advantage for the Ukrainian infantry units. Let's state that the following. Aerial bombardment or artillery bombardment is important. However, the main dominance is the dominance of the ground troops. The place where the ground troops, that is, the infantry, do not set foot is not yours. This is a very important thesis. Any kind of bombardment can wear down the enemy army, but in the end, it is the infantry units that will win the war. The Russian army has still not been able to achieve the desired level of the progress. This is the situation that makes the Ukrainian army advantageous. The advantage of the Ukrainian infantry is stronger and more determined. Returning to the front line, we see that the Russian army is trying to repel Ukrainian troops with long-range artillery fire. However, as I have just stated, the main success here should belong to the infantry units. The Russian infantry units, on the other hand, are immobilized. The continuation of this activity will probably lead to a heavy defeat of the Russian army on the Kherson front line. Let us continue with the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest report, Russian artillery struck Ukrainian positions in Kherson, Avdiivka and Tyginivka. Ukrainian artillery units targeted positions of the Russian armed forces in Alushki, Poima, Pyshanovka, Potetsepsnoye, Kodanovsk and Kazanok camps and Korosunka. I would like to continue by analyzing the latest developments on the Roboty sector of the Zaporizhia front line. There is a noticeable and suspicious silence on the Roboty sector of the Zaporizhia front line. The troops of the both armies are in a fairly stable position. Apart from the clashes between Ukrainian artillery and Russian artillery, not much is happening. There are some reports of the Ukrainian army attempting to advance in the direction of Verbov and Kopani, but these reports have not been confirmed. According to other unconfirmed reports, there is also information that the Russian army is carrying out an operation to clear Ukrainian positions in Novoprokopivka. However, I would like to emphasize again that this information has not been confirmed and it is still in a level of allegations. According to the latest reports, Russian artillery units targeted Ukrainian positions in the direction of Robotny, Malaya Tokmakta, Mali Sherbaki, Stepov, and Lubkov. Ukrainian artillery targeted positions of the Russian armed forces in the direction of Nesryanka, Novoprokopivka, Kopani, Ichenko, Verbov, and Solodky. I would like to continue by analyzing the latest situation in the Wuhldar sector of the Zaporizhia front line. It has been about a week since our report on the possible start of activity in the Wuhldar sector. There has been a lot of activity in the area. Both armies are fighting relentlessly and trying to expand their dominance. According to the recent reports, Russian assault force launched a wave of attacks in the direction of Priyodny and Nikolaevsky. We can talk about a limited advance of the Russian army in the Priyodny region. It is reported that the Ukrainian troops in the area have made a tactical retreat. The Russian army, on the other hand, continues its persistent attacks in the direction of Stromayorsk and Yorkhin, where the Ukrainian army's dominance is certain. As I will mention in a moment, there are particularly fierce attacks by the Russian artillery on these two areas. However, the Ukrainian defense line maintains its positions. There is no change in the border line in this region. Let's talk about the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, Russian artillery targeted Ukrainian positions in the direction of Stromayorsk, Zolotoy Niva and Pechitstopka, Wuhldar and Volodnoy. Ukrainian artillery hit Priyodny, Zavidny Bozhania and Nikolovsky. We continue with the Donetsk front line. As you know, there is an intense activity on this front line. As I mentioned in the beginning of our report, the Avdiivka region on the Donetsk front line has been a place of fierce clashes. These clashes are still continuing. There is an intense attack by the Russian troops against the Ukrainian defense fortifications in the region. Despite the intense attack, it seems possible to say that the Ukrainian troops have shown a very successful resistance. This resistance reminds us of what happened on the Bakhmut front line. Just like Bakhmut, we can already say that no one will forget the name of Avdiivka. Let us conclude our report by mentioning the artillery activity in the region. According to the latest reports, Russian artillery units targeted Ukrainian positions in the Novomikhailovka, Pobeda, Marinka, the town of Krasnogorovka, and Pervomoysky. Ukrainian artillery units targeted Russian positions in the Donetsk, Petsky, Opidny, Spartak, Kamenka, and Krasnogorovka village. Let us also briefly touch on the Bakhmut front line. Not much has changed in this area. Both armies are standing still, and there has been a silence here for a few days. I think this silence will be broken in a short period of time. Also, this silence will not be broken by small clashes. What do you think? Do you think the Ukrainian army will continue its operations in the Kherson region? Can these operations expand further? How do you assess the situation of the Russian troops in the region? Let me know in the comments. I read and care about all your comments.